I am Donika,
And I am Myra, and this is a Black Women Healing Podcast.
a space to discuss mental wellness,
a space to dive into soul care and vulnerability.
Here, we will support you on your journey as you focus on your healing,
while also giving you the work along the way.
Welcome to Black Women Healing Podcast. I am here to announce that our book, Let's Heal, a workbook designed for Black women with various modalities by your co-hosts Donika and Myra, is now at a storefront. And so the storefront is Urbana Goods. It's a community store that brings an upgraded experience of connecting with the community with small crafting gatherings and workshops and supporting other local businesses by housing and selling their merchandise, such as us. And they even sell some of your typical items from the local convenience store. Like, y'all, I literally bought some body butter, hair products, and a cute purse all from this store, just to give you a little example. So when you have some time, check out Urbana Goods. It's located in Gardena, California. The actual address is 1756 West El Segundo, Gardena, California, 90249. You can put it in your GPS, whatever you need to do, but go ahead and make your way there and check us out. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Black Women Healing Podcast. And I feel like today is our first integrative episode, and I'm super excited for it, especially because it's very connected to what we need right now, and even what we've been talking about, like this continued healing as far as Black women and Black people in general. So before we get started, we're still going to start off with our quote by a Black woman. And so this quote says, "You are on the eve of a complete victory. You can't go wrong. The world is behind you." And this is by Josephine Baker. What do y'all think about this quote?
I really love it because it gives you an opportunity to move forward instead of dwelling on the past. I also heard this quote recently that kind of aligns with that, and it says that you don't have a problem if there's an action that can go with it. And I thought about it, I'm like, what do they mean by that? But they were saying if you already know how to do it, there's no reason to get upset about it because you can just do that thing. And so with this statement, it's like something has happened in the past. You already know that it happened, and now you can move on. There's nothing that's keeping you there.
I think that's a fresh take because my mind went to like community, and it made me think about this episode in particular because when I think about Black women in particular and community, when you have a solid community that you can fall back on, you feel like you can take on the world. But when you feel alone and isolated and like you don't have a community to fall back on, you feel like it's me against everybody. So it's making me think about Legacy Members Club, which we're going to talk about today, and thinking about them being the world behind you, and you knowing that if you're fueled by this community, you can't go wrong because you'll have people to talk with it through, you'll have people to fall back on, you'll have people to pump you up. And it's just making me think about, if y'all join, when you log on, some of the first things that you'll see are check-ins, and you could literally drop in and say anything. You could say, I failed today, and I don't know if tomorrow is looking too good for me, and people will hop in and start talking with you. You could say, I drank extra water today and I'm feeling good about myself, and people will comment back and start talking to you. So that's kind of where my mind went. Donika, what about you?
Yeah, like I think like you, Myra, I kind of immediately when I read this, "The world is behind you," I'm like, no, it's not, as a Black woman, which is bad, actually. And I love the fact that you, Nicole, had like this different take on it, which kind of shows just where probably your support and the ways that you've been able to support and have community, but also be a part of it, how it's helped you. You have like a very different, like, sorry, like a bright perspective versus like I've seen this and it's like nobody's behind me. But then when you think about it, like Myra said, I do have community, right? We do. And then with spaces such as Legacy Members Club, like, yeah, that is technically Black women are my world. So yeah, I love the ways that we were able to think about this. So thank you both for engaging in that, and Myra's going to go ahead and get us started.
Yeah, so Nicole, I'm familiar with Nicole because if y'all are on Twitter or whatever the thing is called now, X, something, I don't know. Nicole is very very present in the Twitter space. And so I had connected with Nicole. And one time I had just like DM'd her and it was just all warm and hugs, and then started following her on other things. And now I am a part of Legacy Members Club, which we'll get into a little bit later, but that is how we are connected. So Nicole, I want you to tell us a little bit about yourself though.
Okay, well, thank you for having me. It truly is my honor to be able to share space with other Black women, especially on a weekend. Like y'all are giving up your time to help others. That's amazing because time is just something that you just never can get back. So thank you for sharing that with me. Um, so I am Nicole Lewis. I am a licensed clinical social worker, and I am a therapist for Black women, and I'm also a coach for Black women. I specifically focus on members in our community because it's important to me that we all have quality care. And because of cultural differences, I think that clients should probably work with someone who looks like them or someone who at least knows about the community, knows that they have these things that, these biases, and they don't bring it into the therapy or coaching room with them. So I love working with Black women. But as a business owner, I have to have a bottom line when it comes to, what I charge for clients. And because of, everything has gone up, every price, everywhere you go. If I continued on that road to increase my prices, I would be pricing out a lot of people. So I wanted to create something where we can all get the services that we need, but at an affordable rate. And so I've been thinking about doing this for years, but I was pushed into doing it faster, earlier this year because of some awful things that happened online for me. And so it's interesting that you speak of Danica, you speak about community, the Black people being behind you, Black women. And so unfortunately, I had this event where people, I stated I no longer wanted to work with men anymore. And it just went into a whole, I don't even know how to describe how awful it was. But basically, people were saying that, I didn't like men and I was discriminating and things like that. But it was just strange to me because, there are doctors that cater to only women, or there's therapists that cater to only men, because there's a lot of things about men that I just will never understand. But for some reason, a Black woman not having that space for men did something to a lot of people. And because we have a lot of people who are unhealed, they projected some stuff onto me and wanted to harm me with their words and with their threats and things like that. And so that kind of pushed me into like, Nicole, you've been saying you're going to do this for years, so it's time. Black women need a safe space where they can talk about what they want without, people being ugly towards them. Like Myra said, whether it's, you did something good today and you want to tell everybody, or something happened and you're like, what do I do now? If you do that on Twitter, you can get all kinds of responses. Even in the positive ones, you're like, oh my goodness, I got a new job. I'm going to be making all this money. Oh, well, what about us? You just gonna leave us? It's just people are just unhinged. And so in the Legacy Members Club, I wanted to create that space so that we can all be able to have access to quality care. There's so many things in there, available for people who maybe don't have a therapist, or they need more resources in between sessions, because real life happens. And sometimes our therapists aren't available for us because they have a life too. And so you can, like Myra said, you can just drop in, ask a question or ask for advice or whatever. And that's been wonderful for me. It's filling my heart with so much joy to see all these Black women just being themselves with no fear of judgment. And having that community piece. That's the most important part for me. So we have friendship or accountability matchups. So if you opt in, you can say, you know, weekly, monthly, whatever, you want to be matched with a new friend. And so at our big ages, you know, we all say, how do you make friends at this age? That's how you join the Legacy Members Club, and we make friends there. Because it's important to have that community. It's important to know if something's going on, who do I go to? If you can't contact your mom, your cousin, your best friend, and they may be busy, you may have all of them, you can go to the Legacy Member Club and ask somebody. So that's my background. That's how we got here. I'm just so blessed. I'm so amazed at, you know, all the things that Black women can do. Because every time I need something, I contact a Black woman.
You know, Nicole, you amaze me because you're talking about just Legacy Members Club, and I'm thinking about your free therapy for Juneteenth last year. Like, that's still for me, and it's so interesting because, like, you fuel me to, like, I have a few clients, and it's so creepy because you did the same thing. Remember how you had posted, I want to say it was like the other day, and you're like, I'm taking a few clients, the lowest I can go is 60, pay what you can. That was inspired. I do the same thing. I've just been doing it recently, but that was inspired by your Juneteenth thing. And so you got to tell us a little bit more just about you, right? Like, tell us about your motivation to become a therapist and a coach, and how you even handle showing up as both, because you do a lot of things. So we need to learn more about you.
Okay, yes, I do a lot of things, but I have been trying to focus more on the membership, because as we all know, us Black women, when we get bored or if we're trying, you know, to avoid stuff, we be like, let me go back to school. Let me do something new.
Let me start another.
So I was doing too much. So I'm trying to focus on my practice as well as the Legacy Members Club. But outside of that, I was doing private practice consultations, pick my brains for social work students. I had these random contracts with different organizations for me to assess, you know, their employees or just all kinds of things, which is cool because, you know, we love getting to the bag. But it was distracting me from what I really needed to do. Like I said, I've been trying to do this for years, but now I'm doing it. So what got me into therapy, it was a couple of things. For one, I have a lot of childhood trauma, and I didn't know how to express myself, and I didn't know how to share some of these things with adults. And so I wanted to know, why do people do this? Why do people keep it to themselves? Why do people harm others? What is it? How can I fix myself? Because I grew up having to do things for myself. So I thought that I had to do it. And so I was like, I can go to school and figure that out. And also, my mom would do my hair, and every time she did my hair, we would watch Law and Order Special Victims Unit. And unfortunately, I have the experience of child sexual trauma. And so on that show, you know, it's all about sexual trauma. And they had Dr. Wong, who was a forensic psychologist on there, and he would, you know, help the kids. If they couldn't use the language, you know, he would do something like play therapy or whatever to figure out what those children had experienced. So I was like, I can do that. For kids like me who, you know, maybe don't know how to speak, I can do that. And so I ended up getting this scholarship, well, several scholarships, but I chose this one school, Mississippi Valley State University, for undergrad. And my 18-year-old thought I just knew what I was doing. 18-year-old self thought I knew what I was doing. I get to school and we are registering for classes. And I'm like, yeah, I want to register and do this psychology track. And they're like, we don't have psychology here. And I was like, uh-oh, like, what am I gonna do? Like, I'm panicking. But my advisor was like, oh, if you want to do therapy, you can just go into social work. And I was like, social work? I'm not taking nobody kids. Like, what are you talking about? Just ignorant. That's all I knew about social work. But I'm so glad that happened. It has been a great experience for me. I didn't know all these things were happening in the world. I just was, you know, thinking about therapy. That's all I was focused on. But when I got into social work, I realized there's a lot of other things that go into why people do what they do. It's not because, oh, something's going on in their brain. It's poverty a lot of the times, racism, all kinds of things. So I was really, really glad to go on that track. And so that's how I became a therapist. And how did I start my private practice? I launched on Juneteenth 2020, which was an interesting time. You know, we still are, but we really were deep into a pandemic. There was a lot of riots happening, and I was not working at the time. I was still getting paid, but because of COVID and I was working in different assisted living facilities, I couldn't go in them. So I was still getting my paycheck, but I was like, they gonna run out of money at some point. I need to figure this out. And I was like, well, I'm not doing anything. I'm at home. I might as well start this practice I've been thinking about. I thought I was gonna start it when I was 40 because we got to be seasoned and know everything. But I was 30 at the time. So I was like real scared, but I was like, you know what, Nicole, you're not doing nothing else. Let's do it. And these people need help. Like you can't actually go out and riot and march the streets right now because you live nowhere near where these things are happening, which is interesting because I was living in Mississippi. And you know what they say about people in Mississippi, but none of this stuff was happening in Mississippi. So I couldn't go out and fight for my people. So I was like, this is the way that I'm going to fight white supremacy. I'm going to offer my services for free. So once we get healed, once our mind and our hearts get healed, we can figure out other things. So I offered free services for 6 weeks because like I said, I was getting paid anyway. I was just, wanting to do that, get it started. And that was like the first time I went viral on Twitter because I offered that. And it was amazing. Oh my God. I cannot describe how healing that was for me to see so many Black people show up for themselves. Cause I wasn't used to seeing that. I was used to seeing, oh, we got to go. We got to do this and do that. But they were putting themselves first in those situations. And so that's how my practice got started, and it's been growing since. And now I'm trying to focus more on the membership because with a private practice, you're limited to how many people you can work with. But in the members club, as many people as possible can join and get the help that they need.
Wow. Oh my goodness. I have so much to say. So many feelings going on over here for me. But I mean, one, thank you for that like beautiful backstory. Interestingly enough, I feel like I've heard people who are in like this field type give like maybe like, oh, I seen this when I was younger, but I've never heard the Law and Order with that forensic psychologist. I've never heard anyone say that in specific. So when you say, I'm like, wow, yeah, that is true. But also your connection to you, like you're saying, as a child in general, and what you went through. Like I never put that connection together of like, that is probably how some people's story is or whatever. But so thank you for giving that context. But sorry to go even further back. But when you talked about even just how when you told this crowd of people or whoever that you wanted to focus on Black women, and what you endured, oh, I was over here. My heart was like hurting just that you even had to go through that. But then as you continue talking about it, it was like you made a huge stand, not only for you, but for us too. So thank you so much for doing that and continuing to do that. Like it sounds horrible. I'm so sorry that you even had to experience that, but I think that it showed like a bigger picture of like that we don't have these spaces and that you can't even say that out loud without being attacked, right? So I'm sorry that you had to go through that, and continuing to give your flowers. Yeah, like when I was reading up on your website and stuff, when I seen like you gave free therapy, like I was like, okay. And now to hear that your practice started in June 2020, if that's not the story of a lifetime, like I don't, that's for
real
down in history. Like you started your practice in the middle of the pandemic in June 2020 and provided free services to Black people, and they showed up. Oh my goodness.
I'm sure that
those weren't questions.
so
Yeah, those were comments. But this is just what's been like bubbling up. I'm just like, oh my goodness. So yeah, I'm here to give you several bouquets of flowers. And before we go on to the next question, Myra, do you have any flowers or anything? I don't know you got stuff going on over there too.
I'm always amazed when Nicole, I'll be on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram going crazy, right? Like when people was coming after her, I was like, nope, block you,
So you
report your
witnessed that and seen that too?
I was reporting all these people one by one. Report, block. No.
Thank you
If you
so
follow
much.
Nicole on these pages, you will see she's all about bringing awareness to all the things a Black woman face. She even tells some of her stories. It's very genuine. I mean, you could feel how genuine it is. When I met Nicole and talked with her, she literally started and was like, do you have anything you want to talk about? And I'm like, I thought we was here for business. Whatever you want to talk about. I'm like, okay, well, I got a question. We were talking for an extra 20 minutes. And then she was like, if you need to talk to me again, just email me. Genuine. That's just how she is. So of course I'm about to be block, report. Like y'all are not about to come after her. I can't argue back with people because people know I'm a therapist and stuff, and I don't need them seeing that. But I thought about making a few fake pages. I need to go lie to you.
I appreciate y'all so much. Yeah, that has been so difficult. But fortunately for me, I had a Black therapist, a Black woman therapist, to fully support me through that. And she was an older woman, so she didn't know like what was going on. I had to tell her, and she was like, "They're saying what? Because you specialize in seeing Black women, don't they know we're supposed to have specialties?" And I was like, no, they don't. And I tried to explain that, but they're not listening. And so unfortunately, I'm still, getting the effects of that. I got so many reports to my licensing boards, which was very, very scary for me. And that costs a lot of money to fight those things.
Goodness.
And even now, when I'm making a video on TikTok or Instagram or tweeting about something, there are still people who are watching my pages just to say something negative to me. They don't follow me, but they know what I'm doing. Or I don't know, if I'm on their For You page, they're like, well, aren't you the one who said this? How do you know who I am? I'm famous, aren't I? So I try to look at it that way, because my therapist was like, either you're going to be on social media and keep doing what you're going to do, or you're going to get off.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you're right. So I had to get over that. Like, as your following grows or whatever they call it, you're in the spotlight. People love to have a conversation about other people's business. And so I'm like, well, they're going to talk anyway, so I might as well keep saying what I want to say, instead of, they're saying I was unprofessional for saying that. And I don't believe in professionalism, because I think it's rooted in white supremacy. And clearly I don't play that. So I try to tell them I'm not professional. I don't know why you expect that from me. Why are you as a stranger placing expectations on me? I don't know you.
Yes. Yeah. Wow. Shout out to your therapist too. Yeah, because you could have been like, I'm getting off of here, but because you had some support, and now you have even more support with Legacy Members Club. Like, this is a prime example of, like you and Myra been saying, of something like this going on in the world, and being able to have a space where you can go to, where you can sort out your feelings, and you can have this protective space where it doesn't feel like everybody's against you, or like you said, with social media, is most definitely unhinged. So I want to talk more about like the different topics. I know when I was looking on the website, on the page, it was talking about different workshops and all different types of things. So I was wondering, like, how have you gone about creating the space so that everybody feels like they're getting what they need from it?
It has been challenging to figure out like how to balance my practice versus focusing on the membership. Because of course I still have my clients or clients that are new. But I'm like, y'all cool. Like we linked up, like me and my clients are like family, which is another reason why I try to tell people I'm not professional, because there's all these ethics like, oh, you can't have dual relationships. Those are my cousins. I don't know what they talking about. When my cousins come to me and they're like, girl, let me tell you what happened last week. And I be like, I know they didn't, because now I got to fight them. Because you messing with my cousin. Because, in our communities, when we get close with somebody, now that's your cousin.
Everybody.
Your mama and her best friend, her kids, that's your cousin. So that's how I feel about that. What was the original question? I done went off on something else.
No, it's okay, cousin. You had I was asking you, like, how do you make this space feel like everybody's getting what they need? And you were talking about balancing your private practice and this space.
So the best thing I've ever done for myself is get an assistant. So she helps me a lot. Shout out to Kiera, because Kiera holds it down.
Girl be in these streets. I see her all the time.
Kiera will be like, girl, you got an email. Or I saw this person, they said that they do promos. And I'd be like, girl, thank you. She is the best. But Kiera helps me. But I generally come up with the ideas. She has ideas as well. But I had this big idea where I'm like, okay, we can create this membership where Black women can come, and we're gonna have workshops and courses, and we're gonna have all types of therapists and healers, specifically people who may not be therapists, because I don't think that you have to be a therapist to help somebody. So I wanted that to be incorporated as well. Some spirituality stuff for the people who believe in certain things. Because for one, it's non-judgmental. If you don't want to opt into this webinar based on, I don't know, your root chakra, I don't really know about that stuff, but I'm looking into it because I want us to have a Reiki practitioner soon. But there's different things for different people, but it's kind of hard to try to do it all at one time. So I'm pacing myself. And I'm trying not to give the members too many things at one time, because I don't want them to be overwhelmed. But the main thing is I pay other people to help us. So, I have people lined up. We're going to be doing like a journaling webinar, or maybe a workshop, because it might take maybe 2 sessions or something. But with this Reiki practitioner, she wants to see us once a month, because she says if you're not consistent, you won't get the full benefit. And so I'm like, okay, I want to get the full benefit. And so what do? Pay people, pay Black women. And not just pay Black women. When they tell me they rate, and if I think it's too low, I'm like, no, I'm not paying you that. I'm paying you more.
Did that to me. I was like, is this fake? Is this real?
Myra has helped us as well. She has offered her services, and some guided meditations that we have available. So if someone isn't providing a number that I think is high enough, I want to increase it, because not only am I able to say, because my values say that we need to pay people what they're worth. So my values are what's behind my decision making. And so that's why I tell people, like, I don't think this is high enough. Can I pay you more? And that can be uncomfortable for people, but it plants a seed for them to know, next time I'm asking for this, because that's what you deserve. Because so that's my way of constantly helping people, is knowing that, hey, you're worth this. You don't have to say something like that. Why would you say that? We don't do that around here. So I pay other Black women to help me out. And it's been very, very, very interesting. I mean, most of the experiences have been positive. Of course, some people don't have good business practices, but they don't have nothing to do with me. If their business practices aren't good, I'll just say, this is not something that aligns with my vision. Let's move on and find somebody else. So to answer your question, how am I getting this done? Community, Black women.
Yeah. But you forgot to say that, like, in the Legacy Members Club, I mean, I'm a part of y'all, so I could go on and on. But like, if Nicole is not present online, which she is most of the time, if somebody drops in and says something, because we're so used to seeing people respond, our brain goes, oh, it's time for you to respond. Like, sometimes I'm sitting on there and I look for stuff and I'm like, okay, I don't need to respond to that. Okay, let me respond to that, right? Like, I feel like other people are probably doing the same thing, because you just feel inclined to do it, because why would I let this person ask a question or say something and we're not stepping in to say something? That's the whole reason why we're here for this community. So outside of Nicole and the people that she's bringing in, the people that are on here are also communicating with each other, like just naturally, just checking in, seeing who's online, what's going on.
Yeah.
So essentially, just like, so basically it's like, so you have like these some stuff that's like pre-recorded. That's what I'm hearing. Some stuff that's pre-recorded, some stuff that probably is live events. And then it sounds like you have like this continuous chat that's going. Is it like rooms, or is it just like you just put out there what you're thinking and what you're feeling, what you're needing, and then like Myra saying, then boom? Or is, like, how, I'm just trying to think of like what it looks like without getting into too much, without.
No, it's not a secret about what we do in there. So it's kind of set up like, if you're using it on your computer, because the app is kind of different, and there is an app, because we always on our phones, but if you're using a computer, you have more access to stuff. So it kind of set up like Facebook, like your For You page. Is that what they call it on Facebook? A For You page? What they call it?
No, for you
Like
to TikTok.
your
A
feed.
feed. Because I was on Facebook when it first started. They used to call it your Facebook wall. So I be getting confused.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's kind of set up like that, where you can, just post. But also there's I guess like different areas where you can post. So like kind of like a Facebook group. But there's also areas for specific issues you may have. Like there's a group for anxiety, a group for the LGBTQ community. Like you can post in those groups, and only people who have joined inside of that group can see what you're saying. There's also a voice room. So kind of like you can go live in there. Anybody is able to do it at any time, and it'll send a notification to everybody who's in the membership on their phone and say, hey, this person just opened a room. Do you want to join? Because if I see that, if when it comes to my phone, I'm like, oh, they must really need to talk about something if they're willing to start a room. So there's that. There's guided meditations. I haven't posted the yoga stuff yet, but I'm ready to do that. I'm working on having a vision board party, because at the beginning of the year we're trying to get our lives together. Maybe like a what is it called? A friends Thanksgiving type of thing. Everybody doesn't have family. So we're working on all kind of stuff, because, people are lonely. People are alone. And I know what that feels like, feeling like you don't have nobody to depend on. You don't have no friends, or the ones that you did have, they don't treat you right. They talk to everybody in the group chat except you. They ignore what you saying, but talk to other. I know what that feels like. So, I just want all Black women to know that we got their back. Like whatever they going through, whether it's good or bad, we're there for them.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing that, Nicole. Have you had any challenges so far? Like, I know we kind of dibbled and dabbled talking about challenges, but have you had any other challenges that we haven't covered so far, and any successes that you want to highlight?
Some challenges would be, so before it actually launched, I had a wait list. And people were like so excited to join the wait list. And when they join, you could also fill out a form saying, whether you would want to like host a webinar, or what services you could offer, paid, of course. And it was a big turnout. So many people. I have an Excel spreadsheet of what everybody said. But when I sent emails to them like, hey, I'm following up, crickets. Crickets. I mean, over 100 people, and I think one person responded. So that was kind of disappointing. But it was okay, because I know in a moment people get, excited about stuff, but then they might get scared, or something may have come up. I don't know. That ain't my business to figure out. So, like I mentioned earlier, you don't have a problem if there's something you can do about it. So I just took the action, and it was just like, hey, let me DM some people. These are creators I see that I think will be good. These are some therapists or healers I've seen. Let me set up a meeting with them if they want to. And that is how it's been working out. So that was probably the most difficult thing. I'm like, oh wow, I thought I had all these people I could choose from, but apparently not. Another challenge is marketing. They did not teach us that in school, so I'll be winging it. And I'm like, Kiera will contact, big creators for me. I contact them too. Like, hey, do you do promos? Do you make videos? And most of them will respond immediately, like, yeah, send me an email. And then I send an email and they don't respond. Like, why do people don't want my money? Because I pay well. Like, like y'all be complaining things going up, but don't nobody want my money. So that has been kind of challenging, but it's okay. We just roll with it, and we move on to the next person. But some things that have been successful, oh my goodness, all the women who actually did show up for the membership, the ones like Myra who were like, yeah, let's do this. So many people were like, whatever you need, I'll do this for you for free if you want me to. So there's people who, volunteer to do certain things, and that brings me so much joy, because you know how they say, if you being kind, it'll come back to you. So I feel like some of that is coming back to me now. And also just feeling safe. That, I think that's the biggest success for me, because I do have a diagnosis of complex PTSD. So when all that stuff happened, when those men, and it was some women too, who were saying those negative things to me, threatening my life, my livelihood, saying they want to SA me, and they don't know my background. They don't know that I've actually experienced that several times in my life. So I'm like, why would you say that to somebody? But like that has been difficult, but I know that those people need help. Not from me though, but they need help. And it's not a reflection of me. That has nothing to do with me. So I feel safe in the membership, knowing that these women, most of them got on the wait list from, right after that happened. So they know what I've been through. When I have a problem, I post in the membership too. It's not just me trying to help other people. We're all in community. So I'll post like, hey, is anybody taking Ozempic? I can't find my medication anywhere. Like, what are y'all doing instead? And it's just, I've never had anything like that in my life, where it was just a group of Black women that I could contact. Yes, I've had my mom or I've had a friend, but I don't have a lot of family that I talk to, because I don't believe in talking to people who gonna hurt you. So I don't talk to my family. So the Legacy Members Club is like my family. I know that I can contact them with anything. I can DM them, because you can message on there privately too. I'm like, hey, I saw that you said this. Can you tell me more about this? And also the people in the membership, I'm like, look, if y'all want to make some money, y'all can host a webinar too. Let me know if there's something that you want to do. And we also have affiliate stuff in there. So, if you are a member, you can send a link to people that you think would be good for the membership, and you get $10 for each person who signs up. The membership is $39. So if you send it to 4 people, you already covered it for the month. Or, I mean, you can send it to everybody and just start making money. That's your side hustle. So it's like, it's helpful for everybody. It's a safe space, and it's just so beautiful to watch these women grow. I don't know. I'm just so blessed.
I gotta ask the name. Why Legacy Members Club? Like, where did that come from?
So my private practice name is Legacy Wellness Services. And I created that name because I was listening to a podcast of these Black women talking about legacy. They were saying, our legacy can change. We don't have to go the same, trajectory as, our parents or grandparents or whoever. We can change it. We can do simple things to change our legacy, not just all the hard stuff. Like, we can go get life insurance at a young age and, pay a small amount just in case something happens to us, and pass down money that way. Or we can start exercising or going for walks, and our kids will see us doing that. So now they know, like, that's something I should probably do. And that's what I started doing. That my child always wants to go for a walk because we ended at the park and get on the swings together. And so I'm changing up my legacy. My mom worked out, but only in instances where she thought she needed to lose weight. It wasn't like a habitual thing for her. And so I took that with me. I'm like, oh, I only need to work out if I need to lose a few pounds. But now I know I got to work out all the time because it makes me feel good. Like it just makes everything better. So I got the name from, that podcast and then my private practice, but I wanted it to be like a club kind of thing because unfortunately, some people still have a stigma against, talking to a therapist. So I didn't want to make it like sound like it was, therapy or anything. I wanted them to feel more comfortable with joining. So that's where the name came from.
Yes, thank you for sharing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I love that. So I mean, today I feel like we talked about so many different gems, and if our audience, if you have not felt this connection, start feeling it. Like Legacy Members Club, like, and I mean, we have two people who are literally engaging in it. Like Myra, like, is giving her like real deal experience. Like I'm like I said, I'm feeling all the feels. Like this space sounds absolutely amazing. So do you have any takeaways for our listeners? It can be anything that is sitting with you right now, a homework, whatever you want. Do you have any takeaways?
Yes. I really want Black women to know that they're not alone. And that I know it can be difficult. I know the things that people say about us, but that doesn't make it true. If we have those beliefs about ourselves or other Black women is something negative, it's because someone else said that to us or because they treated us that way. We weren't born like that. Someone placed that stuff on us. And so we have to work through it and realize that that has nothing to do with us, because people only bother us or say something to us because they can't get access to what we're doing or, how we move in the world. And so at the root of it, it's their own insecurities. So just know that it's not about you when somebody's being ugly towards you. And yes, we can do work. We can always, be better versions of ourselves. But if we're doing something that we're not supposed to do, that doesn't mean that somebody can be mean to us or ugly to us. They can say it in an assertive way. And if they say it that way, we would probably take it better and start working on ourselves. So that's a takeaway, but I don't have homework, but I do have a code for people who are listening. I'm pulling it up right now. I want to make sure I have the exact code for everybody. So if you want to join the Legacy Members Club, I am giving you a code for your first month to be free.
Ooh, that is a bomb code.
Yeah, so I hope they listening or they ain't gonna get the code. So the code is AUG LMC 23. So AUG LMC 23. When you go to legacymembersclub.com, you just register and it's gonna say, hey, put your name in or whatever, put that code in. And your first month will be free, and you can be in community with a group of Black women and have access to everything that we've been talking about. And if you are signing up, you probably want to sign up on a computer, because sometimes the app will be a little weird and it'll ask you to sign in all over again and the code won't work. So make sure you sign in on a computer, and I want to see everybody in there because we deserve access to quality services.
Yes. Thank you so much, Nicole. And I look forward to staying in community with you.
You're so welcome.